And just from the comment there, it was a tough day in the office, but it's now, I think it's Port's best start ever to a season. You must be pretty wrapped with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm really pleased for the boys and how hard they've been able to work. We're 8 rounds in, and we've been going since Dubai. We've had to work really, really hard, and we keep on going. But we look forward to a little bit of a break now, and the boys thoroughly deserve 3 or 4 days off.
What cracked them in the end?
Oh, I thought it was a great game of just really hard, tough pressure footy where they were really strong. In the first, we were really strong first quarter. They had a really strong second and parts of the third. I thought just a real physical contest where the important balls were getting won by them probably a little bit more in the first half, and then we were able to certainly turn that around a little bit in the second half and get some momentum going.
Ken, that's a bold, brave, gutsy move to take your ruckman out.
Yeah, it was.
Why'd you do it?
Look, I believe in the boys' run. And I know that they can really keep going, and I thought, we respect Aaron. He's an enormous ruckman. Yeah. We didn't think that we were going to influence ruck contests that much by having a ruckman there, or as we've seen with Trengo, he does have that ability to have that big leap, and if his timing's right, he can actually get a hand over people. And I thought that was, as you say, it was a bold call, but it was one that we were confident that Jacko and Westy were able to carry that for 30 minutes. We didn't want them to do it for 4 quarters, obviously. That's why we made that decision. So
what do you say to your midfielders in that situation? What are you looking for your ruckman to do against Sandilands? And then what are you looking for your midfielders to do?
Look, as much as anything, we're asking to try and nullify Sandilands. That's the key thing we're trying to do. I mean, he's a big man and gets his hand on the ball most of the time. The dangerous part about him is that he can give you that big spike outside, that 20, 30 metre hit. We can't really play off that. If we can nullify that a little bit and make it a little bit more in tight. They've got some elite big body midfielders. We're always going to make it a hard day for us, and our boys, as I said, leading into the game, were confident enough that if we could stay in the contest long enough, we would be okay.
Ross praised your midfielders for winning the ground ball.
Yeah,
a critical difference there in that centre circle, that they were able to just nut it out more often than the Fremantle guys. Yeah,
well, look, I'm pleased. I'm really pleased our boys were able to come out on top in those, those 50-50 balls, as we call them, that are in dispute a bit, and because they had a handy lead at quarter time, I think, maybe +9 or something, and then we've ended up +8 or 9 by the end of the game, so it was a pretty big turnaround for us.
Did you look to Gray at 3/4 time and ask him to deliver more, or did you say it to everyone?
No, I said it to the whole team as much as anything, because it was a great opportunity. We talked about the day being frustrating before the game. We said this was going to be probably a pretty frustrating day, and the longer we stayed close, the closer we were getting to a win, is what we probably talked about as much as anything. And some players were going to have some tough days. I thought Travis really worked really hard right through the whole day. Robbie's form, look, Robbie's been in as good a form as anyone, and if I start talking about it here, probably someone will send someone to Robbie, but Robbie's a really good player and gets the job done for us most weeks.
Chad, have you taken Mark of the Year now?
No, I don't think so. I was honestly just trying to get the ball to the ground, and just lucky it just landed in my lap.
Didn't
Were
look
you
like
confident, Ken, that the game would open up at some stage?
No, I'm not, Jasper. We were playing Ross Lyon coach team, who are a great team, and really well set up. But no, I wasn't. But I believe in what we do, and that's the key message for us: is that we've got to do what we want to do, and that's defend really hard. I think that's a key thing for us. We defended really hard today. I think we held them to about 37 entries or 38 entries, and we were able to generate 54 ourselves, which is real positive, the generation of 54, but for me it's more about the 37, 38 that we're able to restrict them to, because that's hard for a team to kick a winning score if you can do that.
How significant have you seen Trengo's development over the last couple of years?
In my short time, he's just got better all the time. He takes he handles the leadership stuff. That's the key thing with Jackson. He does handle leadership, and he's able to stand up when it counts most. He's willing to put his hand up when you need him the most, a bit like Chad does at times, and Travis. As our whole young leadership group do a really good job. But Jackson is the key post down back for us normally. He keeps them together down there, him and Bobby, and he's been able to improve each time he's played the game, I reckon.
And the decision to sort of omit Lobie, or with a bit of an injury late, was that influenced at all by the fact that you're coming up against such a dominant ruckman like Aaron Sandilands at all?
No, we were doing the right thing by Lobes. Lobes just got a bit of calf soreness that we were just careful of, and look, he trained a little bit yesterday, and he said, look, I can still sort of feel it. I said, well, you're not playing. It's a simple message. We've got a bye coming up. We know he's going to be right straight after that. So, I've said it before, everyone at this stage of the year won't take risks with players who are any question mark on them, and we don't do that.
Chad, well done on your finals in May. What are you going to learn from a game like that one that you can carry through to September?
Sorry, I only half heard that question.
When a game like that can be described as simulating a final, even though it's in May, what are you going to learn from that you can carry all the way to September?
It's really the pressure. I think they're a great defensive team, and we can learn that we can play their style of footy and beat them at it. So they brought some pressure early, and it just shows that we can stand up in tough situations when we're down, and that's what key players did. I think the whole team really stepped up when we needed to.
So, did it teach you something about having to stay in the game when it's not going your way?
It's really just having that confidence and belief in your team. I think we know that Boki, guys like that in the midfield is going to get it done, and we just got to stick it out and give our best 100% of the time.
There were also a fair few times that you didn't want to play safe. Like even Polek taking that long kick right across the centre square was not a safe move, but a bold one. So why do you want to take the risks? Yeah, no, that was a bad kick by me. I probably should have kicked it definitely down the line. So yeah, we all make mistakes, and that was definitely not a bold move. It was a mistake.
Chad, well done on your 50th, and most of your other 49 games have been very, very good. But today, did you feel before the game that it was important to lift against what you expected to be a very tough game and a hard-fought game?
Well, we really tried to lift as a team for Schulze and really try and stay on top of the ladder. Obviously, Schulze 150 games is remarkable, and he's done so much for this club, and we've done so well to get him here. So it was really just trying to step up and win for him.
How does it feel for you, Chad? I mean, Ken sort of mentioned your leadership, in vital times in games. Do you sort of feel differently in those points in games? Do you sort of feel yourself taking your game subconsciously even to another level?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that I just wait for that moment. I'm actually just trying to do whatever I can 100% of the time. I'm not trying to slack off when the game's on. When the game's over, I'm really trying 100% of the time. So sometimes I step up and make maybe a spoiler or a tackle, but the whole team's doing that. It's not just myself.
Chad, why do they pick on Angus Monfries before a game?
Why do they pick on Gussie?
Yeah. Why do they love him up?
Probably because he's pretty good on the lip. He likes to stir a few blokes up.
He brings it on.
But he's a great player. He's got that experience. He's really what holds our forward line together. And I learned so much from him. He's a class act, and he really frustrates opponents. And as you can see, what he's done to opponents in, I suppose, previous games, and he's just a class act, and it really holds our forward line together.
So what was his opening line today then?
I reckon Kenny might have helped him with a few lines, but no, like I said, he really tries to get stuck into the oppo, but that's his game. He really helps us in that way.
Ken, do you have to readjust now your goals in this little time in the break, 7-1?
No, that probably bore you, but no, we don't. We just focus in again and we keep going. I run the line all last year. It's not something I make up, that get what you deserve stuff. It's not just for me. It's what I believe in. And you just got to keep playing, and you just got to keep going. We face up to Hawthorn. We got them coming in whatever round we're up to now. I don't know what round we're up to, but what's the next round? 9 or 10 or whatever it is. So we got to play Hawthorn. We watched that game last night and you go, wow, here it goes again. Hawthorn, Sydney, Geelong and Fremantle, those great sides are at the top. They deserve to be at the top for a long period of time, but it's a great challenge for us, and we want to learn off each time we play, and we'll get something from today's game that Fremantle will hopefully help us improve again, and that's what we've got to do, focusing on what we can control, and that's the next one.
Do you feel like you deserve to be up there though? I mean, the results, the scoreboard doesn't lie, surely.
Oh no, we've played good footy. There's no doubt we've played strong footy right through, and right through from the start of the pre-season to now. We've been able to play strong. We haven't played perfect footy. There's no doubt about that. No coach would sit here and tell you we've played perfect footy. We've played enough solid football that we are where we are, and we deserve that right now.
Ken, the test was always going to be that this year was to make sure last year wasn't seen as some, quick rebound with a new coach. What's different about this year? What have they added on top of 2013?
They work hard. They can continue. They've continued to work harder. That's what I think is the key thing. They've been prepared to go back to work and work really hard to improve each other and improve themselves, and that's what they've been able to do. And rightly so. We're entitled, I think, to keep improving because we are a side that's still developing. We're still on the track of what we're trying to achieve here. We know our players have got to continue to improve because, we're not at that stage where we're a fully matured team. We've still got to keep getting better. So when we do get to that point, we can make everything count when we get there.
You're not dead, Chad. What do you think you've kept going at it as a team?
I think our pre-season, honestly, we've been working hard as a group, and I think the little things is what really stands out. When obviously we run hard in pre-season, but we're constantly working on our touch and and looking for that improvement in every aspect. I think if we're down by, if we're not getting our ground balls, we'll work on that all week. And it has the drive. I think led by Boki, you couldn't ask for a better captain. He really pushes us, and we're working. We're not going to be content. We're going to keep fighting and not defend our position. We're going to attack it.
Ken, you've obviously seen some pretty serious players, young players up close and personal up on the Gold Coast. What's your take on the guys seeing next year?
Yeah, it's hard. It's a really hard question to ask me because I'm a bit emotionally attached. So I'm not quite sure. If you ask me, I'd probably say Chad's a great player. He's going to get better. I know he's going to get better. That's a given. I've been around some really talented players in my time, and that's great that I've been lucky enough to experience that. The only thing I will say is if you drop off, you won't get where you want to go. Chad won't drop off.
I remember last year.
What's developed in your game this year from last year?
Oh, I think our whole game's developed. There's no doubt. Phil and Josh in the stoppages, they've taken that to a different level. Nixie's got the defence to a different level, and Tyson's been able to help bring our offence to another level too. So that's what we've got to do as a group of players. We've been able to look to improve in all areas ourselves, as the group do. They work really hard. Chad just mentioned that. So collectively, we've improved in most areas of our game, but we have to. And you actually just have to improve a little bit to stay with the competition. Now, if you want to keep climbing and you want to keep going, you've got to improve more than that. So you've got to work, got to make every second count when you're not actually. Game day is the day where they enjoy themselves, probably. Through the weeks, the time where they've got to make sure they can enjoy game day.
I remember last year in Perth, you got beaten really badly by the Dockers. Did you talk about that much, or do you try to wipe the memory from the players?
No, we talk. We face up to all those things. We're not frightened of that, and we face up to that before the game. We face up to the outcome of the game, what it might do for us, where it might position us, obviously on the ladder. So we face up to all that sort of stuff. We're not frightened to talk about it, and we know that we want to improve though. And what a great opportunity! We got an absolute touch up by a fierce defensive team last year. That we made that. I'll say publicly, we made Freo our target in defence. That's what we want to be. We want to be as good as we possibly can, and we think Freo are outstanding defensively, and we want to be that. So we need to learn off it, and I thought we did.
You go to the other stream, do you get frightened to think about what might come of this year?
Sorry, I didn't.
Do you get frightened to think about what could come of this year? Like, people think if you start looking ahead, you actually go too far ahead of your own thinking.
Yeah, no, I don't worry about that stuff too much. As I said, I know the key thing for us is to keep working. At the end of 22 games that we play, we'll have a look at it, we'll reassess and see whether we're worthy, and then we'll push on if we're lucky enough to be there.
So standing firm on you get what you deserve.
Absolutely, I will, and I'll do that seriously. We can be at the bottom or at the top. That's what happens. If you work hard, it happens. And it doesn't always happen. You can work hard and not get the results. There's no problems with that. But as long as you know you're working hard, because I reckon you can go to bed at night and you can sleep comfortable knowing that you've given your best. And that's what I want to make sure that we as a football club do.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Chad.